This week we had a great Ask Egberto Anything. Tom C. had a story about a neighbor who got a heart attack and died, and it gives the clear indication to the reasoning behind why we must have some sort of a nationalized health care, a Medicare for all, but something even deeper than that. Listen to Tom's story. I think if you don't have tears in your eyes at the end of this story, something is wrong. But we have got to make a change here in America.
I wanted to tell you a little story, something that happened kind of not directly to me, but indirectly, because we had this neighbor, her husband just died next door. And we knew that the man had a heart attack and died. We didn't know the details until the other day. Well, I got on Zoom meeting with her in our group. We have a poetry group and some other things. And she related the story and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it scared the heck out of me and Elaine too, because, we talk about the healthcare system in the United States and we talk about Medicare for all. I think we got a bigger problem than how to pay for medical issues. And this story demonstrated it. Her husband had a heart attack on a weekend on Saturday morning. They went to the emergency room in this hospital right down a few miles from where we live. And they treated him, but just briefly. And they said, we can't handle you because we don't have a cardiologist here. We don't have a specialist. And it's the weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they put him in an ambulance and sent him down to Ann Arbor, which is 30, 40 miles from here, and where they have a cardiac unit.
A level one.
He got there and, oh yeah, we'll take you right in. 9 hours later, emergency, 9 hours sitting in emergency. They didn't take him in. He's sitting there. They had a few tests and they said, oh, we're trying to get a hold of the cardiologist, but it's the weekend. It's the weekend.
Yeah.
So they finally, she's in a panic. The wife's in a panic. She's talking to all these people and they're saying, we're trying to get a hold of somebody to help you. Just be patient. Sitting in the waiting room from 10 o'clock in the morning to 7 at night. She says, I want to go someplace else. This isn't working for us. Oh no,
Yeah.
somebody says, well, we'll put you in a room. Oh, we don't have a room because of all the COVID issues.
Yeah.
And if we could get somebody to clean this one room, maybe we could. And the wife says, well, I'll clean the room. And they said, no, you can't clean the room. But they finally get him in the hospital, no care yet. They put him, they're trying to they can't give him much pain. He's in agony. The guy's he's in perfect agony. They can't.
Yeah.
And the wife's saying, what can you do? And this one nurse says, welcome to the American healthcare system.
wow.
Welcome
But
to
they
the
should never
American
have.
healthcare. This is what she said. They said to her, unbelievable.
That's
Well,
unacceptable.
The doctor will be seeing him in the morning. She gets home. She gets a call later, a few hours later in the middle of the night. He's dead. He had a second heart attack. No treatment, nothing. He's dead.
Oh, Tom.
It's like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, if they had a cardiologist in there, they could have had emergency surgery. They could have saved that man's life.
When did this happen,
Given the
Tom?
medication.
Just 3 weeks ago, it happened.
Wow.
And they were making the excuses was the COVID, they were short-staffed. Okay, people were sick now. And then they didn't have a room right away, COVID. But they couldn't get a hold of the cardiologist. And the excuse was, well, it's the weekend.
It's the weekend.
So here's my thought. We're old, Elaine and I, we're in our 70s. And it's like, well, what happens to one of us? Where do we go if we have a problem, if we have a heart condition or something? And if it's on the weekend, forget it.
Unfortunately, that is more the norm than anything else. You're talking about Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yes.
That's not a little town.
No,
No,
and
it's
this is
like a medical mecca of the area.
And I wanted to tell you too, because I've been thinking about this. What you talk about capitalism, and what really bothers me, and a lot of times I'm thinking capitalism. Okay, we need some form of capitalism. But when you talk about healthcare, I think we're in trouble with capitalism because these hospitals in our area, there used to be like 4 or 5 hospitals around here different hospitals. Now they're basically one in our area and 2 in Ann Arbor. And they build these massive complexes with all these people supposedly, specializing. And now you go to a local hospital and they say, oh, we don't have the special, you have to go here. And so they have to transfer you. They can't take care of you. And then the emphasis is on making profits. So they want as few staff as possible taking care of as many people in these big complexes. And so you're kind of out of luck unless you've got the right situation where you go to the right place at the right time. And I'm thinking, God, do we need a national healthcare system?
Yes,
More
we do.
than Medicare. I'm talking beyond Medicare. I'm
Yeah.
talking about maybe some form of almost nationalized system, maybe a hybrid, but where there's control over these hospitals creating these monopolies and oligopolies where they overextend themselves. They can't take care of people. So
And
they have
won't.
these centers you have to be transferred to, and then they're all jammed up because
Tom,
they don't have enough staff.
You know,
It's
I want to
pretty
interject
sad.
because that is a story. If we had so many people, at any given time, most people are healthy, right? Or fairly healthy. What I mean is everybody here is
Not
fairly
me,
healthy. We're not going
critical.
to see a doctor right now or in the next 10
Right.
days likely or anything like that. So at any given time, it only affects a small fraction of the population, and people have short memories. I mean, I think these are stories that people have to see in that guy who died from that heart attack and in that woman who lost her husband. People have to see themselves in those women and in those people. And what we've done is abstracted all of that, right? So you go on
Taking the person
TV,
out of it.
and when they tell you about how great American medicine is, you just take the top line. And then your story never gets taken. It's like, okay, Tom's story may be the exception. It's not. I have a wife with
No.
lupus. I have a daughter who just had 2 strokes. I mean, it is just amazing that we allow them to do what they do, and the moniker that's used against us when we want to do right by people is, are we really that?
All right.
Yeah, is it so is it crazy to want to help people? I mean, when I say help people, I mean
It
help us
shouldn't
all.
be.
Now, I hope you understood exactly what occurred there, what Tom explained. Somebody died that didn't have to die, and they died a slow death in a 24-hour period in which any one of those hours could have saved his life, absent a profiteering, overtaxed healthcare system. If you think we are exceptional, if you think we have the best healthcare in the world, then we can convince you of just about anything. This system is horrendous. Go to any other country in the world, including several that we consider third world countries. Something like this would have never occurred. We can do better. We should do better. We must do better. Medicare for all, a Medicare for all that prevents things like that, the unnecessary death of people from occurring.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.